All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Well, I got a burr under my saddle.
We talk, you listen.
Somebody that's going to take an innocent life is not mentally insane?
You know them.
Time to nut up or shut up.
You love to hate them.
It's the Denton and Sasquatch show.
Can I bring my AR-15 next time?
Sure.
Yes.
This place is half talk show, half weird daycare. I love it.
You can't handle the truth.
Hello and welcome once again to the Denton and Sasquatch show, coming to you from both California and Alabama. My name is Sasquatch. I'm the dude in California. Then we got Denton. He's all the way out there in Alabama. How are you, my friend?
Unhappy, which makes me kind of happy.
I was going to say, you're happiest when you're unhappy.
Right.
But I have to ask, why are you unhappy?
Well, it's not so much that I'm unhappy about this because it makes me, well, actually, it makes Denton sad. I was reading on Fox News. Khloe Kardashian apologizes after calling sister Kourtney R-word and says, I will do better. Okay, now you can understand my confusion when I said I was reading this on the news, the Fox News this morning. The R-word. I can't keep up with all these hash words. But anyway, keeping up with the Kardashian star, Khloe Kardashian. I know there's what's the other chick, the well-done one? Kim Kardashian. Yeah. I know Kim, but the rest of them, because everybody knows Kim, but the rest of these people, I have no idea who these people are. But star Khloe Kardashian is apologizing after dropping the R word in a live Instagram on Thursday, which I don't even know what an Instagram video is. I don't care. Nobody bothered to tell me.
You damn Kardashians, get off my lawn.
The new mom of True Thompson. What is that name? The new mom of True Thompson. Is there a fake Thompson running? What the hell? What did an Instagram live featuring her and her sister Kourtney doing their morning workout with it? Who the hell is watching two bimbos doing their workout in the morning? I'm not even awake until about an hour before noon, and I'm drinking caffeine when I do. But anyway, other people are watching this shit. In the video, Kardashian becomes frustrated with her older sister, who is trying to sync their smartphones but seemed to be having trouble. According to U.S. Weekly, Kardashian was heard in the video saying to her sister, "Yes, you can, you effing R-word." And as Kourtney appeared to have more trouble with the devices, True's mom, I'm just now learning the name Khloe, okay? And now they switch out Khloe with the offspring's name, True, which is a freaking stupid name to know. Anyway.
It's false.
The mom yelled, "Are you effing R-word?" Now I had to read this.
Let me take a stab at the R-word. Is the R-word retard?
Yes, my favorite word, that and dolt. The reality star's comments caused backlash on Twitter.
Of course it did.
Several of the Stars fans called out the new mom for using the R-word with her sister R-word. See, now, and this is my problem here. They didn't have a problem with, what's her name, Khloe dropping F-bombs.
Uh-huh.
Okay, profanity, something that's been long establishment, pardon that little thing, we'll get to establishment later, established as being a bad word, is quite all right. On Sci-Fi Channel, 2 days ago at noon, yes, I'm watching TV at noon because I don't go to work till 1, the F-bomb was dropped. No, nobody has a problem with that, but retard? Okay, this is why the R-word, the N-word, all these words you can't say anymore, I use, and I will continue to use because traditional profanity is now acceptable. You hear 7- and 8-year-olds saying the unacceptable words. That to me is unacceptable. But words that when I was in 3rd grade, we're calling each other retards, and guess what? Nobody got their eye poked out because of a word. Okay, this is why Denton is sad.
The PC police have struck again.
I think this is absolutely incredibly moronic. Okay, now this makes me sad But here's something that makes me feel a little happier.
Wait.
You want some more happy news?
Wait. Before I'm not done with this yet, so don't move on yet.
Okay.
I'm going to do something that I thought I would never in my life do. I'm going to defend a Kardashian.
Wow.
All right, and here's why. Okay. Retarded used to be used for handicapped people, correct?
Still is.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Mentally handicapped. Retarded. What does the word retarded mean?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. So they
Stunted in forward motion.
They made a big push to get the word retard not to mean mentally handicapped or physically handicapped people anymore. So, okay, if that's the way you want it, fine. Retard doesn't mean that anymore. But if it doesn't mean that anymore, it now means what it used to mean, which I have it right here in front of me, pulled up on the computer. Retard, delay or hold back in terms of progress, development, or accomplishment. So, Chloe telling her sister she was a retard was absolutely correct because her sister was delayed or hold back in terms of progress, development, or accomplishment in trying to link those phones together. I rest my case, Your Honor.
That was awesome. I was thinking of the analogy of truckers with the Jake brake. You flip the 1, 2, 3 stages of Jake brake, 1 being the lowest, 3 being the highest, and the engine itself is used to retard the speed of the vehicle.
Well, yeah, like fire retardant used to stop the progress
you can't
of
say
the
it
fire.
anymore. You have to say, I don't know what you call it. Handicapped fire? I don't know.
Handy-capable fire. Yeah, I get what you're getting at, though, but that's funny. Yes, but you know, if you look at it, though, she is now correct because if they've taken that word back to mean what it used to mean, then she used it correctly.
But even then, calling somebody retarded means they're mentally, developmentally handicapped. They're a little bit slow.
Well,
or as we say down here, a little touched.
And that fits the Kardashians well. So again, they use the word right.
There you go. Now, the fact that you're not supposed to say retard, and it wasn't until, you remember just a few podcasts ago, we put on Threepers.
Yeah.
And it was pulled from the National Threepers Forum because I used the word retard. It wasn't from somebody from California, complained about it. I don't know where these people come from. I have no idea. But what really irked me is that they pulled our podcast from the Threeper original forum because I used that. They backed 3%ers. Yeah, we're going to stand for liberty and the Constitution. Oh, he used a bad word. Let's pull that out. Let's get it red. Let's get it away from there. Okay, but this makes me feel good. U.S. birth rate cut in half since 1950s. Expected to remain below replacement levels into the next century.
That makes you feel good?
This is from Breitbart. Roby at prepperforms.net put this up there.
Uh-huh.
The United States birth rate has been cut in half since the 1950s, with the country's fertility rate expected to remain below replacement level into the next century. Yes. This is 2000. Let's think about this for a minute. 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what, 60-something years, 68 years since 1950? And this is where we're at? Okay, where the R word can't be used, but the F-bomb can be dropped everywhere? Yeah. Let's kill it, man.
So ending humanity is a good thing to you?
Well, I'm just looking around, seeing where we're at now, and I'm thinking, where are we going to go from here?
Very true.
Okay. All of that craziness aside, yes, Denton went on a rant again, and Denton apologizes, but we do have some important things to get to. For example, I did mention prepperforums.net, which is where you can go to read our otherwise, I wouldn't call it informative, but kind of entertaining rants that we write on there. It's supposed to be about preparing for, nuclear war, famine, hurricanes, tornadoes, but we talk a lot about politics there as well. And also you can get hold of us. What's our email account?
Denton and Sass Show at gmail.com.
Denton and Sass Show at gmail.com. I'm going to remember that one of these days. And we have a website that I actually put something on there 2 days ago.
Did you? I'm going to have to go check. I haven't seen it.
I thought it was pretty good, but I forgot what it was.
Oh, well, that one. That one is Denton and Sasquatch .com, basically.
Denton and Sasquatch Show or Denton and Sasquatch?
Oh, see, now you're asking me things I don't know the answer to.
Well, this is why I never say anything, because I always forget. Anyway, yeah, try either one, and that's our website. And
Nope.
Bam.
Nope. I'm looking at it now. DentonandSasquatch.com. How sad is it that we don't even know our own website?
That's pretty sad. Now, we do have some important information to get out there. Do you remember what that was?
I do, but before we get into that, I want to give you something that will make you happy.
Other than the world's coming to an end?
This shows you, you hear all these stories about the Kardashians, and it makes you want to slit your wrist. I totally understand that. Mm-hmm. But then you read a story like this, and it makes you know that people are nice and can be wonderful.
Oh, really?
A guy named Michael Bliss is very nice.
Well, his name fits him.
That's true. He is a 95-year-old veteran of the Air Force who served in both World War II and the Korean War. Well, recently he was enjoying a day out at the pool with his family and his wife of 72 years, who is also a veteran, served in the Coast Guard, when suddenly he saw a little boy from the neighborhood who was way too afraid to jump from the diving board. Well, Michael wanted to fix that and teach the little boy that there was absolutely nothing to be afraid of, even at his age. So, with a little help from his cane and some help from his family members, he made his way over to the diving board, climbed up, carefully made his way to the end, flexed his muscles, and dove in.
And broke his hip.
Yes. And farted and left a little something in his pants. No. No, he dove in and showed the little boy there was nothing to be scared of. Doesn't that melt your heart?
Well, I was kind of hung up. His wife was a member of the Indiana Coast Guard?
No. His wife also was a veteran and served in the Coast Guard.
Okay, I thought you said she was from Indiana.
That's because you don't listen to me.
What?
Exactly. No, his wife of 72 years, she is a veteran too, serving in the Coast Guard.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
But see, the news constantly bombards us with all this crap that we don't want to hear, and rarely do we find little stories like this. You have to almost dig for them to find them. But I just wanted to share that.
Did you even say the word Indiana?
No, I did not say Indiana.
Well, never mind.
You know what? I'll go back to the tape afterward and listen and see if I said Indiana. But I don't think I did.
Well, that's pretty cool. The old fart jumped in the water. Well, did the kid follow suit?
The story doesn't say so, but I would guess he did. But I mean, you know what? This is actually a cool story, because this is how our country used to be. Like, the old people would teach the young people things, whether it's skills on how to get by or skills on how to live or whatever. My grandfather taught me a ton of stuff. And
I'm going to have to part ways with you. My father didn't teach me how to swim that way. He didn't jump off the diving board. My father threw me into a well, not a well, but it was where a spring came out. It was Choctaw wells. It was a concrete pool where the well came up. It was freezing cold, and that's how I learned how to swim. He chunked me as far as he could, and I figured out how to get to the side.
Well, sink or
swim. There was no, here, watch me. That old veteran is he's Air Force, so he's a skirk. If he'd been a real man, he'd pick the kid up and threw him in.
Well, I learned how to swim from Miss Drewiff, an old lady down the street when I was a kid. So
you learned from a real skirt.
A real skirt.
Cool.
But now that you've poo-pooed all over my story about there are still nice people in the world, let's move on.
Well, I'm just in that mood. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Apparently you are. Well, our next topic, which you actually sent to me, is not going to make anything better. Let's see. Let me pull it up here.
Well, now that you mentioned that, and I'm going to tell you why I sent it to you. Mm-hmm. I'm sure everybody's seen by now that Trump and Putin sat down and had a secret meeting just amongst themselves.
Yes, it's the end of the world.
It is. And then afterwards, the two went and they talked to reporters, which we all know that's what Trump does best. Sure. And, okay, I'll give the reporters one thing. He did Now, I think he mentioned the word Democrat way too many times. You know, you don't go all the way to Helsinki to throw rocks at Democrats. We all know who you're talking about. You could have said those who oppose me or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? But that's my only complaint. But what irritated me was, and I'm listening to the reporters, whatever you call it there, the little presser, and immediately afterwards, I'm clicking between CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and they were all, to include Fox News, throwing rocks at them. Fox News, before the presser started, had this CIA agent who was the station chief in Moscow yapping before the meet. And then afterwards, he was yapping again, and he was just chunking rock after rock at Trump. And, you know, that kind of irked me. I mean, everybody is already on the same sheet of music, to include Fox News, to chunk rocks at Trump. You were at work, weren't you?
I was, but I heard about it. Well, I mean, how dare anybody talk poorly about the FBI or the DOJ? I mean, they have a stellar record, don't they?
No, not really. And that's the thing, that the ones that were trying to throw the biggest rocks of all was, other than, well, the usual politicians, was former CIA directors Brennan and Clapper. And Brennan is a stand-up American. Oh. He's a convert to Islam, and in the 70s, he voted for the Communist Party USA. There's a man I'm going to listen to when it comes to politics, religion, or anything else.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm sure you've done a little bit of reading, and you've noticed something about the CIA. And they're connected to an organization that is all about money and power, and not the Constitution.
Are you talking about the CFR?
Yes. What's CFR?
I believe that stands for the Council on Foreign Relations.
I believe you're absolutely correct.
Hey, you know what? Before we go any further, I belong to a few boards, Prep Reforms being one of them, but a lot of them, and they all talk politics. And going through all those boards, I hear people, even people that voted for Trump, still complaining about Trump. And, you know, oh, well, he's brat, or what's the word I'm looking for? Crass, or he doesn't know the first thing about politics, or he doesn't know how to do this, or he doesn't know how to do that. And they're all complaining. And I was thinking the other day, you know, I voted for Trump, and I hope Trump does the best. I wish him the best. He does some stupid things sometimes, but what I was thinking was, what he's doing now, either he's very smart and doing a good job at it, or he's really dumb and doing a great job at it. Does that make sense?
And very lucky, yes.
Exactly. So either way, he's doing a good job.
And the people you don't want to have in there are the ones that you recognize immediately, and they're the smooth-talking, polished politicians, because you know they have been polished by those who want them to do the right thing and be elected again and again.
Well, before we jump on to the Council on Foreign Relations, which is scary anyway, Denton sent me this little thing from Zero Hedge, and it's I don't know if they wrote this or if they took it from somewhere else, but basically it's 10 things the CIA has done that will make you lose confidence in them. And some of these I knew about, other ones I didn't, but like they go all the way back to 1945 and World War II. Operation Paperclip, they weren't the CIA then, because it hadn't been formed yet, but it was the American Army Intelligence, which later became the CIA.
OSS.
Yeah, while Americans were dying, they were going around rounding up SS scientists and engineers and bringing them to America to make bombs for them. So, you know, that's, I don't know, that's a tough call on that one.
Yeah, they brought back a lot of SS people.
Yes, they did.
And I believe, I would like to think that everybody knows about Operation Paperclip. If you don't, you need to research Operation Paperclip.
Well, and that's how we got the nuclear bomb, because Hitler was working on it too. So we just took a scientist and made him do it for us.
Well, that and NASA would be nowhere where it's at now were it not for the Nazi scientists, rocket scientists that we brought over. They say, oh, it's not rocket science. Well, you can say that now after we got the Nazi scientists. Yeah, sure, okay.
But I find it funny. A lot of these Operation Northwoods, it was a joint CIA-Pentagon proposal designed around the idea of escalating a war with Cuba by stoking public anger. The proposal calls for the CIA and other U.S. government operatives to commit acts of terrorism against American civilians and military targets, blaming it on Cuba and using it to justify war against Cuba. Now, basically, we all know that as a false flag, right?
Exactly, yes.
Well, I mean, does anybody think they didn't do this anymore? I mean,
we know they did.
Yeah, well, it says the idea was vetoed by President Kennedy. 50 years later, the CIA and Pentagon still very much exist, but there's no longer a President Kennedy. So, who do you think won that fight?
Yeah, well, I would say it wasn't Kennedy. He's dead.
Yep.
I mean, think about the Lusitanos dropped. I mean, think about the Maine. What is that? The Gulf of Tonkin. Mm-hmm. I mean, all these are false flags that the government created so that we would be 100% behind them when they want to go to war. And every time middle income, lower income American kids died, not to mention indigenous people elsewhere, and other people got rich.
Yeah, and number 1 on this list is a very big doozy, speaking of that, but I'll go down to number 8. Speaking of this whole Russian meddling thing, what did they do? They put up a couple Facebook ads, and supposedly they hacked the DNC, which phishing and hacking are two different things. But anyway, if that's the worst they did, big deal to me. That's what I'm saying, because in 1970, Salvador Allende, there you go. He was elected as a Chilean president. A physician and dedicated socialist, Allende was the first socialist president elected to South America. The Nixon-led government of the United States immediately implemented economic warfare. The economic warfare did not work, and in 1973, Allende's Socialist Party increased their parliamentary majority. In response, the U.S., in air quotes, assisted the Chilean military in carrying out a coup. Allende allegedly shot himself, and Augusto Pinochet, I don't know, it looks like Pinocchio. Pinochet. Pinochet, there you go. Was placed in power as the first dictator in Chile's history. Pinochet was a fascist who executed Chilean subversives by the thousands. So I'd say that's a little bit worse than a couple Facebook ads from Russia, wouldn't you?
What do you want to bet that Allende allegedly shot himself 6 times in the back of the head and had a typewritten note shoved in his shirt pocket?
Yes. They later referred to that as a Clinton suicide. But I mean,
now we can drive this a little bit closer to recent history. Ukraine. Yeah. Anybody remember Ukraine?
Yep.
Duly elected president is overthrown with a little assistance from Hillary and Obama, and a more Western, that is to say, Nazi, fascist / Islamic government is installed. Never mind the fact that Obama was working his ass off to prevent Benjamin Netanyahu from getting reelected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we have the audacity, when I say we, I mean them, have the audacity to say something about meddling. But who's behind all of this meddling overseas, and who is screaming the loudest because of Trump? President Trump is not, from what we can tell, and believe me, Sasquatch and I, we do a lot of reading because we've got nothing else to do because we got government jobs. We see no reason to believe that he is establishment member. So who is behind all this shenanigans?
Well, and I don't want to read this list all the way down because it'd just be boring, but there's plenty of examples here. But the last one, number
Mockingbird.
1. Yeah, the last one was the Iraq War, where we were told as a people that there were weapons of mass destruction there, and if we didn't get rid of them, he was going to sell them to terrorists or use them on us or whatever it may be. And it later came out that it was false. The whole thing was false. But they did it anyway. And so, if you're sitting there going, oh, well, we need to trust the FBI because they're a bunch of good guys, you might want to rethink that.
So when Trump is talking to Putin and that reporter says, are you going to believe Trump? Or, excuse me, are you going to believe your own intelligence community? Or are you going to believe Putin? Well, Trump kind of waffled. I honestly think he was thinking, well, I don't want to say I believe him believe Putin, but I damn sure don't want to say I believe these morons.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because they've been lying to me ever since I even started to run for politics.
Well, yeah.
So what is he supposed to say? Really, all you people has been throwing rocks at Trump because he didn't say, yes, I explicitly believe the intelligence community. The intelligence community has been working against him as well as the rest of us for decades. What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
But who's behind the intelligence community is what everybody really needs to understand, because it's not just the intel. It's not the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, and every other alphabet group you can think of. These people were created, the agencies were created by somebody, and they are somebody.
Well, you know what? I think an important thing for people to remember too, and I think, personally, I think Trump feels this way as well. When he says the FBI are a bunch of crooks or idiots or whatever he says, he's not talking about the grunt guys, the guys that are on the street taking care of drug labs and things like that. I mean, he's talking about the head honchos of the FBI, because a lot of these guys have no idea what the upper brass is doing. So I feel that way too. It's like I don't blame the entire FBI, because some of these guys are just going to work doing their job like anybody else does. But the ones in the upper echelon of the FBI, those are the ones we're talking about here.
And before we get way off into this right here, let me point out something. That you're at 100% right. And I don't care if you're talking about the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, or the United States Army, or whoever, whatever branch you love and hold dear. You're a private, or you're a second lieutenant. You're a soldier, okay? You're just thinking about what your job is. But now as you're moving up, okay, in the officer corps, if you're going to be a brigadier general and you're going to hold true to the Constitution, well, you can get that far, all right, because you're not going to go any further. You're not towing the company line, so to speak. You want to be on up there. If you want to hold a real position, you want to be prestigious, you better be doing the right political things. And the right political things would be the establishment political things. Before I got in the Air Force, out of the Air Force, I witnessed my commander go to colonel. As they would say, she was racked and stacked. In other words, all of her, or his, or its, I'm not going to say any gender here, all of her prerequisites for the next promotion were all in right position. And a good part of that was how she handled the, what do you call it, trans-testicle thing in the Air Force, where everybody who's confused about their sex, come on back in, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just right perfectly, and bam, guess what? Bam, she's there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's there, or it's there. Again, I don't mean to throw out a gender, so anybody who's listening will know who I'm talking about, although you probably know if you know me. The point of the matter is, if you're going to move forward, you're going to have the right attitude. Okay, and it's been this way for decades. Okay, back when I was in the Army in the early 80s, if you were going to go higher up, you had to be establishment. But what is establishment? What is that?
Well, you know what? Speaking of establishment, let me. All right, I got to turn the volume up here just so it plays and people can hear it. So don't say anything for a second. But I'm going to play something here, and then I'm going to see if you know who this is. So here we go.
All right.
As Director Tennant has pointed out, Secretary Powell presented evidence last week that Baghdad has failed to disarm its weapons of mass destruction, willfully attempting to evade and deceive the international community. Our particular concern is that Saddam Hussein may supply terrorists with biological, chemical, or radiological material.
All right, so did you hear that?
Well, I got bad ears. That was kind of tinny, but I'm going to try to guess Colin Powell.
No, actually, that was Robert Mueller, the head of the head of the FBI at the time, saying that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq and that we need to go to war. So for all you people out there going, oh, Mueller's doing this thing and he'd never lie, there you go, right there.
So Mueller was in Iraq?
No, but he was head of the FBI at the time.
But he knew this for a fact, so he must have been in Iraq.
Well,
or else why he'd be quack? Sorry.
You've been listening to too much rap.
That's a fact.
Jack.